Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another MLB DFS Slurve video here at No Huddle Fantasy Sports. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. We are talking baseball specific DFS for the main slate tonight. Today is September 17th, 2020, Thursday night baseball, main slate DFS baseball. Looks like we have 6 total games available for us tonight starting at 7:05, so a smaller slate, but nonetheless an exciting slate, which we will discuss. We're going to talk about my favorite pitchers, stacks, one-off bats, everything you kind of need for tonight's main slate to make sure you're put in the best position to succeed, to win money, and to win all the glory tonight in DFS. Before we begin, I only ask you guys, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy these videos, give them a like, make sure you share the video, all that good stuff. It goes a long way. Of course, this is a smaller channel at No Huddle Fantasy Sports, just one guy putting these videos together. So I need your help to continue to grow this channel. I'm trying to hit the goal is 500 subscribers before the end of the NFL season. Sadly, the MLB season is coming quickly towards an end here, but we will continue on, as I mentioned, with NFL videos. In fact, if you're into Thursday night football, we have Cincinnati playing in Cleveland tonight. If you're playing over on DraftKings, there is a showdown slate. I've full-blown video discussing my favorite plays for that. Put it out earlier today. I will link it in this video somehow, some way. So please make sure you check that out if you're into NFL DFS, specifically those one-game slates. But for tonight, we're talking MLB. As always, the Slurve videos, we're going to quickly go over the FanDuel app here, or in this case, we're going to dive into the web browser. I did this in the last video. I think it's better than just using the phone app, in that I can kind of explore the optimizer and show you guys some behind the scenes as to how to select picks, where it's coming from, and some of the background. So without further ado, let's start this video. Let's talk about MLB DFS for tonight's main slate. And with that said, let's jump quickly over to the lineup optimizer, Daily Fantasy Nerd. Quick plug for them as always. I've used this optimizer all season long. We've done great with it. If you guys are interested in an optimizer, please check the link down in the description. It's an affiliate link. It does help me out. But hey, I swear by this. I've used it all season long. I use it for NFL. You can see up here towards the top, you get all available sports for one price here. So again, I think you get a free month if you follow that affiliate link. Check it out. It's going to help you be a better player in DFS. It's going to help you set better lineups. It's going to help you identify certain trends, certain players, all the stuff you need to be a better DFS player. Check that affiliate link down below in the description. That being said, you can quickly check out here. One of the great things about Daily Fantasy Nerd, we can kind of get an overview of weather. The only game that looks concerning is this Texas at Houston game. You have a 9%. Oh, that's a retractable roof. Forget I even said that. My mistake. I meant the game above it. New York Mets at Philadelphia. You're looking at a 7% chance of rain. Now that will change. This is just a general idea. You can see it's powered by dark sky here. You want to check that as we get closer to lock. You want to make sure that's truly a weather concern. But outside of that, nothing else looks concerning in terms of the slate tonight. We are talking about a smaller slate, 6 total games, but it's an excellent slate in my opinion for being a small slate. You have 4 teams above 5 tonight. That's Colorado, Houston, New York, Yankees, and the Dodgers. Of course, Dodgers at 6.33, a crazy total. But they are playing in Colorado tonight, so you have to navigate, figure out if you want to stack that game. You know, I love both teams, really, to be honest with you, and we'll talk about that. But on the other side, what's even crazier about the slate is there's almost nothing kind of normal in terms of runs scored. It's either really high, or you can see here 6 total teams below 4, including Philadelphia, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Texas, New York Mets, and Detroit. There are some excellent pitching options tonight, some aces on the mound. You have Nola, you have Beaver, you have a good pitcher for Houston, an up-and-coming pitcher, at least so it seems. So again, you have some options tonight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to spend up at pitcher and stack this Los Angeles Dodgers at Colorado game. It can be done. I'll show you some ideas I have. But in general, it's shaping up to be a great slate ahead of us. That being said, let's jump back over to FanDuel. Let's pick a random contest here, dive in to the 6-game slate, and start talking about some of my favorite plays. We will, of course, start at the pitching position. That's where I always like to go first. Try to figure out on FanDuel, where it's only one pitcher available, where you're best spent, or where your money is best spent. So again, talking pitching specifically, I already mentioned it. Sticking at the top here, though, I'm going Shane Beaver. I've faded him several times this year, mistakenly faded him. He is an excellent pitcher. So far this season has been just absolutely on fire. You can kind of see here, has a 1.53 ERA, has 7 wins already on the season. We're talking a shortened season too. Ridiculous amount of quality starts. He basically goes 6 or 7 innings every single game. His worst game in recent memory was this 5-inning, 5-hit, 10 strikeout, 1 earned run game. So if that's your worst, against Milwaukee, come on, man. You can do damage with him anytime you start him. So I don't need to run down stats for him. He has a 30% plus strikeout rate. Today he is on the road, which is a downside in Detroit. Heavy road favorite though. Detroit only projected 2.78 runs, the lowest on the board, so naturally a great fit here. As I mentioned, Beaver himself, 30+% strikeout rate. He has been excellent. He's projected 7 Ks on the night, which is the highest. He gives you both a floor and an upside. A floor of literally 37, 40 points with upside of 70 plus. On FanDuel, you cannot pass that up. Double-digit strikeout potential gives you that upside, but also just the ability to go long into games, limit damage, gives you that floor. I don't want to pass him up tonight. I'm definitely not going to be doing that, even though he's on the road here. He is playing Detroit. He has already faced them. It's the second time he's facing them this season. He went 7 innings earlier this year in Detroit, 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks for 64 FanDuel points. Of course, he got a win and a quality start. Both of those are very much in play tonight. Cleveland Indians, as I mentioned, are heavy road favorites. I will mention, too, one way to really lock in your pitchers here. So I mentioned Detroit is an excellent matchup. He already has pitched well in Detroit this season. But if you jump over here, you want to check out the splits leaderboard. Now this is on Fangraphs. It's kind of how I really narrow down my pitchers. There's no one right way of doing anything, but you do want to focus on certain things. So we're ranking right now teams as a whole, as lineups versus right-handers. Obviously the top of the list is the Mets, the Atlanta Braves. Coming down here, you can see Detroit is 27th out of only 30 teams with an 81 WRC plus. They have a 292 WOBA. Under 300 is pretty bad. Their ISO is 161, which is also very, very low. More importantly, he's going to give you K upside himself, but the Detroit Tigers are number 1 with a 28% strikeout rate to righties. So you're just, all the variables are adding up. You're checking all the boxes here for Beaver. I think you definitely need to fit him into your lineups tonight, especially if you're playing cash games. Keep in mind though, a lot of these pitchers are going to be heavily owned. You're only talking 6 games. The other guy I want to mention here is Framber Valdez, the young lefty for Houston. Houston just churns out pitchers, man. He has had a couple of bumps in the road, especially over the last couple of weeks. You can see here, he played 2 away games. Dodgers are a very, very tough team to pitch against, so you kind of give him a break here. Gave up 5 earned, but he did have 7 strikeouts. Before that, against the Angels on the road again, 8 earned, 2 strikeouts. So 2 really bad starts in a row there, but before that, this dude has been on fire. The point here is he's $9,100. He's the second best option in my opinion tonight. He is pitching at home versus Texas. I mentioned he is a lefty. Texas struggles versus lefties. Texas in general tonight projected from Vegas 3.54 runs, so a very, very low run projected total. You have to like that. Again, targeting teams below 4 in terms of your pitcher. He is a heavy home favorite, so unlike Beaver, Valdez here is pitching in Houston at home, heavy home favorite. Again, puts him in a good position to get a W, hopefully a quality start in addition to that. He's also projected 7 Ks, so again, high projected Ks, tied with Beaver on number 1 on the board here with 7. Again, I really like that. He is only a 22% strikeout rate guy, right now at least. I do think that's challenged in terms of 2020. I think the number has come up to 24%. Have to understand, he has shown he's up and down, right? He has 11 Ks. He's shown the double-digit K percentage, the double-digit Ks in a game. He has 8 versus LA, 9 versus Oakland. You saw him get 7 in only 5 innings versus Los Angeles Dodgers. So he has that potential. Just randomly, he will throw in these 2s. Couple of strikeouts, 5 here and 7 innings. He has the tendency to do that. That has lowered his K percentage, but I still think he gives you decent upside with Ks. Especially versus this Texas team. Now, we're talking about a lefty here, so let's go back to Fangraphs to show you why I like him so much. Just generally speaking, Texas is the worst versus left-handed pitching. As a lineup, you can see here, 68 WRC plus. That is absolutely horrendous. 285 WOBA, 138 ISO. They're not hitting anyone. They're not hitting for power. And then let's sort it for a K percentage. And they are towards the top here, 6th overall in baseball with nearly a 25% K rate versus lefties. So all good things here. I do really like Valdez as my second option at pitcher. Again, pitching at home, a lot of good variables for him, saves you some money, helps you fit some more expensive bats in. Although he's not cheap, he's in a good spot. So those are really all I'm considering in terms of pitching. You can come down the list here. There's no one. I mean, I'm not playing anyone else. I don't know why I'm going to waste your time discussing anyone else here. But let's move on to stacks here. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. The Colorado game is an excellent spot tonight. You have two pitchers on the mound that I do not think are good pitchers. You have Freeland, a lefty, and Urias, a lefty. Both these guys are not good pitchers. They can be taken yard time and time again, and then you put them in a park like Colorado. I think it's going to be an extremely high-scoring game tonight. It's the best option on the slate in terms of a stack. Stack the Dodgers if you can. Stack Colorado if you can. Game stack it if you can. I just don't know if you can, especially with Beaver. So that being said, those are my thoughts on that game. I'm going to pass it up in the sense that I can't really build a lineup with that right now with these expensive pitchers. But my point to you guys is, if you can, go ahead and do it. I'm not recommending it. The teams I am looking at tonight, I've struggled here between Houston and Cleveland. Specifically, looking at the pitchers they are facing. So you can see here, where? If we scroll down the list here, Jordan Lyles is pitching for Texas tonight against the Houston Astros. And I've tried to switch this up a little bit, but quite literally, Jordan Lyles, I've seen him pitch a lot in Pittsburgh. He's not a good pitcher. He's not pitching well so far this year. Has a 7.8 ERA, has done really nothing. Low strikeout guy in the sense that he does not rack them up. He's not a scary bat. And what I've done here for you guys is sort this list here by some of the pitchers I would consider targeting tonight. What we are looking at here is hard hit percent, barrel rate, contact percent, and just some of the other indicators that are relevant. Of course, I look at way more than this, but it's interesting here. What I tend to notice, so we're focusing only on 2020. You have the Mets guy, Lugo, with a 41% contact rate in only 27 innings. You have Hudson here. Oh, let me sort this for you guys very quickly. But of the top four, you see Lyles sitting squarely with a 40% hard hit rate. Barrel rate is 8.7. That's pretty bad. And then a contact rate, this is what stands out to me, at 86%. He's barely missing any bats. Swinging strike rate of only 6%. Again, these numbers indicate how often guys are making contact and how often he's missing bats, and he is not doing that at all. Ground ball rate is 39%, so it's slightly higher than I like, but it's still a point, that is worth attacking in my opinion. He has a 6.18 xFIP, certainly not good there. So I wanted to verify that, and I went back to 2019. We're going to do that here very quickly. So now we're talking the combined stats of 2019 and 20. And what do you know? Jordan Lyles still sticks out at number 2 here. 40% hard hit rate, still very similar, 7-8% barrel, 80% contact rate, barely missing bats, 4.97 xFIP. All these things are standing out to me, and you're talking 183 innings. Now, you can make the argument Casey Miz here, and I've talked about the Cleveland Indians. They're a big letdown as a stack as a whole over the last, basically the whole season. And he's only at 20 innings, so we really don't know how this will flush out. But, oops. Scrolling around a little bit too much for you guys there. That stands out to me. Jordan Lyles, I want to attack him here. So that being said, I think you can go with a with a Houston Astros stack. On top of that, you can come back over here. The Houston Astros have a nice total tonight. They are third on the board with 5.46. Kind of lines up exactly what we're talking about. If we're looking at their projected lineup, which we can do here on Daily Fantasy Nerd, I think you can go lefties and righties. If you can, go lefties versus him, but your Brantleys, your Bregmans, you can come down here. Hopefully Josh Reddick is scooting up in terms of a lefty, but I would stack all around. I love Carlos Correa, even versus righties. He has been hitting 7th, it seems, but hopefully he scoots up again. Springer, Altuve. The bats are not alive this season, but they are getting better. In general, I like the Houston stack here. as my #1 stack non-cores. Now, you have to find value. You're going to have to find value basically tonight. I think the value to be had tonight comes from the St. Louis Cardinals stack. Again, we'll flip back to the optimizer here. We'll talk about St. Louis. They are playing on the road against Pittsburgh, a decent total of 4.76. But what I want to focus on here is the pricing of these players. Steven Brault, if we go back to the list here, he stands out not from the sense that he's a great pitcher or a super bad pitcher. Kind of limits damage, but does have a heavy contact rate. 5.08 xFIP, certainly not good either. Again, if you go back to left versus right splits, he is much worse versus lefties, so you do want to attack him with lefties if you can. But in general, the idea here is the St. Louis Cardinals have a very inexpensive stack, inexpensive players, whether it's your Tyler O'Neills, your DeJong, Edmonds. All these guys are priced below $3,000 or at $3,000. Brad Miller stands out. I'm sorry, you want the righties here. I think I said you want the lefties. You want the righties versus Steven Brault. He does really struggle from that sense. And to verify that, let's bounce back here really quickly. Go to Fangraphs. Brault. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I won't do this in every single video, but just to kind of give you guys an idea of how you can find this information. Here on Fangraphs, a great source for basically all the advanced analytics you want for baseball, for pitchers, and it's the easiest way to kind of sort your pitchers. So you can see here for his career, 351 WOBA. This is Steven Brault versus righties, but you can attack him with lefties, and that's what I meant to say earlier. So don't be scared of certain bats. Again, 5.19 career xFIP versus righties, 4.74 xFIP versus lefties. Only strikes out 18% of right-handed bats. In terms of a hard hit percentage, you're talking 35+% to righties, 32 to lefties. And home runs per 9, I always like to look at that. If we could find it here. Home runs per 9 standing at 1.2, so certainly doesn't give up a ton of long balls. He does pitch in PNC, is doing that tonight, a better pitcher's park than a hitter's park, but in general, I still like it. So again, your Edmonds, your DeJongs, your Goldschmidts, your O'Neills, great stack, value stack. I will be stacking them with Beaver tonight, certainly. Outside of that, those are really the only two stacks I think are worth mentioning, in addition to the Colorado bats. I want to give you guys some one-off bats. It is possible, I mentioned it earlier, that you can fit some of these Colorado bats, specifically some of these bats associated with Colorado. So if you want to attack from a Colorado sense, attack Yuri's. So Story and Arenado, of course, are super expensive, over $5,000, and you'll see how quickly this doesn't become possible with. So you're at $2,400 already. Kevin Pillar, right-hander, has been batting higher. Matt Kemp, these guys stand out as right-handed bats that you can get in the lineup. And if you basically choose one or the other here, you certainly can get this done. Hampson has been okay for them. That's your way. There are value bats available in this lineup. On the flip side, if you do want to get some LAD bats in, Los Angeles Dodgers here, some of the guys I do want to mention very, very quickly that I think are decent prices for playing in Colorado. So $3,300 for Chris Taylor. I will take that all day. Kiki Hernandez. Hopefully he's hitting higher in the order, and this might be how you get these stacks in the sense that you have to go with a lower stack in terms of the order, because some of you guys up top. Now Pollock has been more expensive. He's $3,800. He's also dealing with an injury. I do want to mention that very quickly. Will Smith has been hitting excellent for them. So surprisingly, a lot of these players are below $4,000. Of course, if you go with your Turners, 36, decent price on him. Where it gets expensive is like Mookie Betts, $4,900. I just don't think that's going to be possible tonight with Shane Bieber. But in general, those are some of the one-off bats associated with that game. I just wanted to show you it is possible. It definitely is possible to stack that game tonight. But some other bats I do want to mention generally tonight. I mentioned there is a high total tonight for for the New York Yankees, so you do want to get exposure. I have no issue getting exposure with them. Aaron Hicks stands out to me. Travis Shaw from that same game, the other side, a value bat, third base, in a good spot versus Tanaka. Urshela, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Gio, again, $3,100, get you exposure to the Yankees there. Brett Gardner may also be doing the same thing if he's in the lineup. It's not as good as he used to be, but for $2,500, you get some exposure to that lineup. Michael Brantley for that Houston team stands off as both part of the stack and a one-off bat. And that's really it. Those are some other bats I think are important to consider tonight. But in general, hopefully these videos are helpful for you guys. Hopefully looking at the optimizer, looking at fan graphs, all that good stuff can help you guys. Give you a little sneak peek here. We can quickly check out what the values are right now. Sure enough, Will Smith, Travis Shaw, I mentioned both of them stand out. Chris Taylor's in here. O'Neal, we talked about him. But in general, again, make sure you guys utilize these tools. If you haven't already, check out Daily Fantasy Nerd. It's great. Outside of that, though, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Check me out for some more DFS videos. We're putting out MLB DFS videos every single day. NFL videos a few times a week as we get closer to Sundays. But outside of that, I wish you guys the best of luck. I'll catch you in the next video.